Okay, we're live. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm here with Sian Ann Bessey, and we're going to talk about her upcoming book, The Unassuming Curator, and do a cover reveal for it. And I'm super excited for this one, guys. It sounds so good. I've read a little bit about it, or a little bit of it, but haven't finished it yet. But it's definitely one to look forward to. So Sian, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this story, or a little bit about the story probably first.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited to be here with you all and share this new Georgian Gentleman book with you. Those of you who have enjoyed the other Georgian Gentleman books will recognize a few of the characters. This story is Emily's story. And Emily, for those of you who've read the others, is the younger sister of Adam in The Alleged Rogue. And she's a little bit of a bookworm, but very, very sweet. And I knew it was going to be difficult for somebody with her disposition to find her match, but she did. And it's such a sweet, fun story. She travels to London with Adam and Phoebe. So those of you who've read An Alleged Rogue will recognize those characters. And she stays with, are you ready for this? Aunt Millward. So Aunt Millward was one of our readers' favorite characters from An Uncommon Earl. And so Aunt Millward plays a fairly large role in this book, which was so much fun to bring her back. And Emily meets Henry, who is one of the curators at the British Museum. And with her love of reading and science and nature, it's just a really fun match.
I'm so excited for Aunt Millward. Like, just pumped for her.
She's such a fun character to write. And she's, just so you all know, she's still wearing her favorite peacock feather hat. And so, yeah, she's as quirky as she always was. And I should say also, for those of you who have not read any of the Georgian Gentleman books, you can certainly read this one first if you would like to. They each stand alone, but they have cameo appearances from people from the other books too. So for those of you who've read it, it's fun to be reacquainted. For those of you who haven't read the other books, hopefully you'll enjoy this one and then want to go back and read the others.
Yes. Yeah, you like all of them you can just pick up and read, and you don't have to know who the other characters are to enjoy the story. But it is definitely fun to kind of see the different characters pop up in the different stories and already know who they are and their storylines. So that's fun.
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned that he is a curator for a museum. So I'm going to pop the picture up of the museum back then, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about the museum and kind of why you picked this for the setting.
Yeah, so this is a picture of the Montague House. And the Georgian Gentleman books are all set in the late 1700s. And so when I start the research for a new one, I just start digging and digging and digging and digging until I can find 1, 2, sometimes 3 things that I feel like are unique to that time period, and also that maybe not many people know about. And so when I was trying to come up with a story for Emily, I discovered that the British Museum, and those of you who have visited London may have visited the current British Museum, it was established in the late 1700s. And this building that you see in this picture, Montague House, was the first building to house the British Museum collection. And the current British Museum actually stands on this same property. But over the years, extra wings were added to this, and then they finally decided that it just wasn't big enough for all the collections. And so the Montague House was demolished to make way for the building that's there now. But the interesting thing was to learn about how different the museum was then, because the British Museum was actually the first of its kind. In the past, museums had either been owned by the church or by the crown. And so this was the first time that the public was allowed to come and see collections from around the world. And the curators who worked there were the ones who gave tours. And people coming had to purchase a ticket ahead of time and went around the museum with the curator in private tours. Now, of course, the British Museum has an open door policy and sees over 6 million visitors a year. So it's really grown since then. But this was its beginnings.
Okay, I've got like a picture, a couple shots of like the interior.
This is the interior. And the Montague house was, it had a French style to it. So it was very elaborate. Obviously, this is not there anymore, but these are renderings of what it looked like in those days.
It just looks like a very impressive building and like a hot spot for people of that time period. Like it was very unique for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we've learned a little bit about the book. So let's read the official back cover blurb.
All right. You want me to read this?
Yes, please.
Emily Norton loves nothing more than losing herself within the pages of a good book. But the solitary pastime is poor preparation for participating in the dreaded London season. Her trepidation over formally entering society is all-encompassing until she stumbles upon an enigmatic gentleman digging up flowers in a hedgerow. Before she can learn his name or the reason for his unusual activity, however, she is whisked into a carriage bound for London. Henry Buckland has a secret. He cannot discern the difference between certain colors. It's a particularly difficult disability for the curator of natural history at the British Museum, but no more challenging than his repeated attempts to outmaneuver the machinations of the town's most notorious matchmaker. At his parents' dinner party, he receives assistance in outwitting the persistent busybody from a surprising source, the intriguing young lady he met on the country lane. As Emily and Henry become formally acquainted, they discover a shared love of science and nature that makes them ideally suited. However, Henry is not alone in his admiration for the young woman. As the competition to woo Emily escalates, so too do tensions at the museum. When an unexpected danger threatens Henry's livelihood and life, it appears he may not have the chance to win Emily's heart after all.
Oh, it just sounds so good. And I read the first like 5 chapters, and I do have to say I love how Emily and Henry meet. I think it's so cute and just very unique. And like Henry himself is very unique because he's colorblind, and I love that. I think that's such a fun thing to add to his character that we don't talk about much in like historical books. So I thought that was a great.
And so that was the other little piece of history that I added to this book. I discovered in my research that colorblindness was, nobody knew what it was. And so it was just beginning to be studied at this time period. And a man called John Dalton, who is best known for, he was a very well-known scientist, and he was best known for introducing atomic theory to the scientific community. But he and his brother suffered from colorblindness. And so he was the first person to start studying this phenomenon and to try and figure out what it was that was causing people to not be able to see colors. And it was just fascinating to try to imagine what life would be like having colorblindness but not knowing what it was. So
yeah,
that's Henry's challenge.
Yes. And I think that's such a weird concept to realize that people didn't know at one point what colorblindness was. Yes. Because it's a modern day term and we know it, and so it's not something unique
Well, of
for
course,
sure.
this was before anything was known about genetics. And
Right.
so John Dalton did come up with a theory that, of course, was eventually proven wrong. But the interesting thing is that International Colorblind Awareness Day is still celebrated on John Dalton's birthday. So he did make a big impact on the study.
That's so cool. And just such a fun, I'm so excited just to read Henry's story and learn a little bit more about his colorblindness and how it plays into this story. It will be so cute. Okay. So I think we should probably show the cover. Do you
All right.
want to show your copy and then I can
You
pop
want
up
me
the
to?
graphic?
I have one right here.
Yes, I think it's time we share it. It's so
All right.
pretty.
Okay, here you are, everyone, the unassuming curator. Let's see if I can get this on the camera just right. So
It's
move it away
so
from your
pretty.
name.
I
And
just love it.
this is the first one of the Georgian Gentleman to actually have the lady on it. So that makes it stand out a little bit as different.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to pop up the bigger graphics so you guys can see a little bit better. I just think it's so pretty. And it's just going to be a great book. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I am so excited to share this story with everyone. And it's going to be a fun mix of a character that people know and love from an earlier book and a brand new character that they have yet to meet. So
I agree. We are giving away 2 advanced reader copies. So comment today. Tell us, let's see. Tell us your favorite one of the previous Georgian Gentleman books, or what you're looking forward to in this one. And then I'll pick a winner.
If you haven't read any of them yet, then can I throw out another question?
Yes.
So either tell us your favorite of the Georgian Gentleman, or if you haven't read them yet, your favorite color, because poor Henry would not have the same spectrum that you do.
Yes, that is a good question. Yes. So throw your favorite color in the comments, tag people, and then we'll pick a winner next week and send out copies. Or later we'll post and we'll do a separate post. And then you can comment on that as well and be entered to win. So thank you guys for joining us. This book does come out in April, so you've got a 6-month wait for it. But
a 6-month wait for this one, unless you win, and I really hope you do. But if you are wanting another Sian Bessey book, in the meantime, I have 2 more coming out soon, and most of you have probably heard about them on social media. So The Danger of Diamonds. Oh, I'm so bad at this mirror imaging thing. This one I wrote with Tracy Hunter Abramson, and it comes out in 2 weeks, October 11th. And that one follows along with some of the characters from Heirs of Falcon Point. It can be read as a standalone, but it's fun if you have read Heirs of Falcon Point also. And then this one, The Call of the Sea, is set in 1140s, Vikings, and this one comes out November 1st.
So excited for both of them. They're both.
I'm just jumping all over the centuries.
I know. Like modern day. We've got some Vikings going on. We've got just everywhere. But they're all so good. And I've read both of those that Sean just showed, and they are fantastic. And I am so excited for them to hit shelves and for people to start being able to read them. And so I can talk to more people about the books because I haven't been able to.
I'm so happy you enjoyed them, and I hope everyone else will too.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and remember to comment to enter to win a copy of The Unassuming Curator.
Yes.